Yeah, the 8th of November last year, Eddie Howe was appointed as Newcastle head coach, and here we are a year later, and they're third in the Premier League, and they are 7 points off top spot. You know what usually I'd nick this as my own, but Dan the man said this in our meeting. He said in his first press conference, he was saying we're in a relegation battle. In his last press conference, he's being asked if he's in a title race. That's where Newcastle have come in 12 months. I think he has had an unbelievable... What he has done in the last 12 months, I don't think even the board at Newcastle, anyone could have expected it would have happened as quick as it's happened and as impressively as it's happened as well. Because they look a completely different outfit. They look incredible. What he's done at that football club. There's a real stability there. It took him a while to get to him, if you can remember rightly. If I can remember rightly, they spoke about him. I think Unai Emery said no to them. Yeah. And then they went back to Eddie Howe. But he almost looks like he's a man with a purpose down at Newcastle to play great stuff. I think he's been really clever in the transfer market. Again, he hasn't listened to outside noise. When all the money came in and he was appointed just after, it was almost like, right, Mbappe's come. I know people didn't believe it, but it was almost signing players like Coutinho, for instance. People were saying, yeah, Coutinho.
Lingard was number one.
Yeah, they need that superstar name. Well, Lingard and Coutinho have been awful signings this year. They've been poor this year. But bringing in the likes of Dan Burn, Chris Wood, who I question, but he did a job.
He scored the weekend.
Yeah, he did, yeah. Nice goal as well.
Yeah, very nice.
Kieran Trippier.
By the way, what a buy that is.
What a buy.
He was the wrong side of 30. There were question marks about whether or not that's the type of player that they should be going for.
It was about motivation. Kieran Trippier, even Matt Target, I'm not a big fan of, but he did the job. And obviously Bruno Guimaraes is the superstar that they signed. But the way they've gone about their business, and then you look at this season, I mean, sitting third in the Premier League, I thought there was a 2 tests this season where I went, right, this is where we'll see whereabouts Newcastle are. And they played United, and it was 0-0, and I thought, okay, because that's a game. I think
they should have won that as well, by the way.
Yeah, they played really well. And then it was when they went to Spurs, a team that's in and around that top 6. Can they go there to Tottenham Stadium and get a result? And they won 2-1. They were absolutely brilliant that day. Remember Callum Wilson, the goal over Lloris?
I'm sure I went to that fixture last season at the Lane and Spurs smashed them.
No, I think Newcastle beat them.
No, I've got 4-1 Newcastle. 4-1 Spurs in my head.
Oh, we'll get back to that.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You're right. 5-1.
Oh, was it 5-1?
5-1.
Okay, I was at that game, yeah.
So it's, I think what Eddie Howe's done has been fantastic. What he's doing is, he's not trying to walk before he can run. Do you know what I mean? He is building the foundations first, getting a bit of stability. I'm guessing he's probably even surprised himself that they're currently sitting where they do in the league. But I expect him to go again in January, bring in good players. And then I think once they start to... if they're in this season now in the top 4, then I think they'll go smart but big in the transfer window.
Okay, answer me this, Benny. How does... Because the expectation levels from fans as well as the owners, it changed depending on how well you're doing, right? So at the beginning of the season, Newcastle's aim was probably top 10, top 8 at best.
Well, someone's got here, we can definitely win the league.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Well, you're laughing, right? I'm not saying they will win it, but any other side sitting third, 7 points off...
if they won the league, that would be a bigger wow than Arsenal winning the league.
Yeah, of course it would.
Yeah, that would be like one of the biggest shocks just after Leicester, you'd probably say.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd probably be the second biggest winner.
Because they're coming from last season bottom as well.
What are the expectations now, though? They're third. I mean, if they get...
European football.
Okay, so...
I'm not saying Champions League.
No, I know, but if they finish 7th, I think now...
That's still a good season, that.
Is it now? I know, but this is a backhanded compliment because I'm saying, wow, Newcastle, 7th now.
Sure, it's a good season, but I'd say they're better than that.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle are a lot better than that.
Yeah.
But I think for them this season now, the aim has to be Europe. Why not?
No, I agree.
You look at the inconsistencies of Chelsea, Liverpool.
All of them, Man United.
Even Tottenham have been a little bit inconsistent. I know they've only lost a couple, but...
Yeah, I agree.
Man United as well, getting beat by Villa. I think European football has to be minimum aim.
We'll take calls on it in just a moment. 03717 223344. In case you're joining us late, today marks 1 year since Eddie Howe took over as Newcastle manager. He has been speaking to the media about how much he's enjoying his time in the North East.
It's been different, I'd say, but a healthy different for me. And that was part of the reason for wanting to come to something new and vibrant and a totally different challenge to the one that I'd had. I still feel it's a difficult one to answer. I feel I'm Newcastle through and through, but I still feel I've got a lot more to prove and to educate myself on. So I think it's been a really healthy dynamic for me to come into an amazing football club and try and take on the challenge of managing Newcastle, which is yeah, it's an amazing thing to do.
Do you know what it is, right? He says there about he's Newcastle through and through, but he feels like he's still got a lot to achieve, a lot to learn still. He's only been there 1 year. Now, you know as well as I do, in football, things can change very quickly. Like, he's flavour of the month now, and he's absolutely flying. But you look at someone like Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea, who achieved really good success early on, Champions League, bang. Look how sour that turned after a while. Now, there's still question marks whether he should have been sacked, but he was. He'll know Eddie Howe up there as well, especially with the club going in the direction that it's gone. That he can't really afford to go 6, 7, 8, 9 games without a result. He's got to keep improving, and I think he's more than capable of doing that. I think he's such a good coach.
What will the aim be for Newcastle now with regards to Premier League glory? Will it be 5 years, 10 years, 3 years? Everyone's got a game plan, right?
Yeah, I'd say 5 years probably. With the money that
5 years, they will be thinking we should be winning the Premier League within 5 years.
It's a difficult one because I want to say 5 years, but then you look at the improvement of City every single season. Arsenal are getting better. Tottenham are getting better.
I'm not that impressed with City this season.
Look where they currently sit still.
I know, but I just think at the moment, I wouldn't say they're getting away with it, but I think when Haaland's injured, I'm like, I'm not as confident.
Do you know what? When Haaland's injured, they just revert back to type, which has seen them win Premier League titles without him.
I know, but I wouldn't be stunned if Man City didn't win the titles.
I would.
Would you?
Yeah, they're winning games this season in second gear.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.